Blockchain networks are decentralized and public, meaning anyone can participate, whether they are intending to follow the rules and be honest participants of the network, or whether they have more nefarious plans in mind. Maybe they want to attack the network to do damage, or they just want to take advantage of other nodes and unfairly profit from this public participation in the network. For example, we know that every slot we are supposed to be producing a block. And so maybe a bad actor is supposed to produce a block here as part of this particular slot, and they want to attack this slot here. Maybe they want to censor the block out. So after this block has been created, we're going to try to make it so this block doesn't actually exist, and essentially try to pick up here where this block left off. By censoring this block here in the middle, we are devaluing the APY of that particular validator, and maybe even enticing stakeholders to move their stake, because that validator didn't successfully produce the block if we can successfully censor that block from being created. We want to prevent attacks like this, and furthermore, we want to protect the network against a validator who maybe misses their block, but then tries to come back later and say, oh, no, I did create that block on time, and the network needs to recognize that, no, that didn't actually happen. Solana is going to use two different mechanisms to prevent bad actors from breaking the rules. And the first of which is going to be proof of history, otherwise known as POH. We need to prove that our blocks were created at the right time for every validator creating blocks during their own leader slots. And then we need to prevent bad actors from trying to prevent bad blocks during other validators' leader slots. Again, whether that's for their own personal gain or just to cause destruction to the network. And so the question is, how do we keep track of time? A lot of other blockchains like Ethereum, they will use an external timekeeping method, especially the well-known protocol Network Time Protocol, or NTP. However, with Solana, we're not going to use an external method. Instead, we're going to use an internal method known as proof of history. This internal method is a cryptographic mechanism for embedding the time into our created blocks. As such, we can now keep the network in sync. We know exactly when one interval ends and another begins. We can know whether blocks were produced on time, and it makes it very difficult for one validator to censor other validators by creating these dummy blocks. Now, the other mechanism is Tower BFT, where BFT stands for Byzantine Fault Tolerance. It's a mathematical solution to a problem of trust. Namely, when we have a lot of untrusted actors, as we said up here, we don't necessarily know who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. The question is, how can we verify a decision? Because we don't know whether everyone is responding honestly, and for that matter, whether everyone will even send a response. So BFT proposes a solution that involves two parts. First of all, it involves bidirectional communication among all of the different nodes. And second, it involves a verification from the majority of the actors involved. We want to make sure that most of the actors have agreed to do the same thing. Now, this concept of BFT was introduced many decades ago. Eventually, we had the idea of practical BFT, or PBFT, proposed. Solana, on the other hand, uses Tower BFT, sometimes written as TBFT. Tower BFT is essentially a faster flavor of the practical BFT. It involves validators casting votes to verify the blocks, and it builds the concept of consensus around block creation and transaction verification. So in conclusion, POH, proof of history, gives us an internal clock to ensure accurate timing for the blockchain. Tower BFT ensures the network agrees overall, preventing bad actors from doing damage. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and always remember to stake at the lake.